friend of mine, a very successful appraiser, had told me a couple of times he would have never thought of having his daughter enter the profession. I've heard that from a lot of folks, and I struggle with that because I love my job. I love what I do. I love appraisers. You have a hard job and a thankless job many times. Thank you, by the way. And it can be a challenge because you're kind of like an umpire. If you make a call and the client likes it, then you're a hero. And if you make a call and they don't like it, strike. They thought it was a ball. They hate you. There's really no in between. They either love you or hate you, right? And a kind word once in a while really kind of makes your day. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But how do you feel? How do you feel when someone asks you about entering this profession? I say welcome to the best job on the planet. We have challenges, and we've had a lot of challenges over the last several years. But when I was a little kid, if somebody told me, hey, Bryan, when you grow up, people will pay you, they're going to pay you money to tell them what you think, I would have thought that's crazy. You mean people will write me a check for offering my opinion? I can give you my opinion all day long. Get your checkbook out, right? It's the best profession on the planet. I've got a lot of folks I know out there in social media land. A lot of folks are saying you're crazy. I'd never do this to my kids. I tell people to run from the appraisal profession. How do you feel about it? Well, I've got a guest that I'm going to bring on in just a second, and we're going to see how he feels about it. In fact, what he's done about it. So come on back and join the conversation. Hi, this is Bryan Reynolds. You're listening to the Appraisal Update Podcast, brought to you by the fine folks over at Appraiser eLearning. You need some education? Check us out at appraisal-learning.com. If you're watching, which I hope you are, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's how you'll continue to be in the know. We sometimes have breaking news podcast or notifications, and you'll get a little notification, ding, ding, ding. You'll also have access to these podcasts really kind of in advance because we send it out as an email at some point. But when they get published, you would maybe get a day's head start on the podcast. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. If you're listening, drive your car, be safe. I'd like to thank our sponsor, LIA Administrators and Insurance Services, for their continued support of the Appraisal Update Podcast. So let's just jump into it. I've had this guest on the program a few times. He is got a lot of energy. He's got a lot to say. He's a pretty excitable guy. And almost always, he's pretty positive. Every once in a while, you can rub him the wrong way, and you get a little fired up there too, which is another reason why I love him. Here's the thing. He doesn't hold back. He always gives his opinion. He's not afraid to be vocal and give his opinion. So welcome to the program, Mr. Jason Covington.
Good afternoon, Bryan. Hey, nice introduction. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you're here, brother. It's good to see you again. In fact, I just did a little video. It's going to be wherever Kim puts them. And it's about a recommendation you gave to me that we have in our office. Don't say what it is. And I said, it'd make a great Christmas present. So if you guys are curious what that is, go check out the Instagram channel or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever Kim puts all that stuff. There's a little video, and I called you out on that. I mentioned you in that. But Jason, welcome to the program. Tell briefly, in case somebody doesn't know who you are. Most of my listeners or viewers know you, but just in case there's one or two new ones out there, tell them who you are, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Jason Covington. I'm a certified residential appraiser in Nashville, going on my 20th year as a boots on the ground appraiser. I've done a lot with my appraisal license and my appraisal career since I got started, but I kind of got started in the mortgage banking business, found the appraisal world, got my license, got started my own appraisal business there. And then as legislation and regulations in our industry changed, with with AMCs and the middleman and all of that happened, I created an appraisal management company at some point in my career, due to all those changes. And um, so with the appraisal management company, I've also worked with banks. I've been a chief appraiser at some banks here in Nashville, and now currently back on the streets, boots on the ground, doing appraisals on a daily.
Very cool. And you served on the Tennessee board for a while, and you were also recently a board member with the NAA as well, right? So,
Yeah, correct. I'm very involved with the NAA, National Association of Appraisers. I attend the conferences and do that. And I also, yes, I had an opportunity to serve on the appraisal commission, appraisal board in most states, but here in Tennessee, they call it the Appraisal Commission. And yes, I held a seat there for a couple of years and enjoyed my time there and serving there as well.
so you've been around the block. I mean, it's not like you're not a newbie by any measure. You've heard, you heard my intro, and you've heard some, I don't know what you call it, opinions, I guess. Yeah, I'll be nice. You've heard some opinions of professional appraisers who really just, I mean, it feels like there's so many of us that are just filled with negativity and hate. I don't know if that's a strong word or not, but and then when they say, why in the world would anybody want to get into this profession? And I've always said, if you're doing something and you hate it so much, why are you doing it? Get out. But what are your thoughts about that? And in particular, not only their frustration, and it's okay to be frustrated, but
Yes.
let's try and find ways to fix things that are wrong with it instead of just bailing. But what do you say to those folks really that are just frustrated and disgusted with the state of affairs? And then they go one step further and they say to the public, and I don't think they're doing it from the perspective of trying to keep their competition out. I think they really mean it. Don't ever get into this business. It's horrible. What do you say to someone like that? I mean, that I would never let one of my kids get into this business.
Well, it hits me. It hits me in my soul. Actually, it upsets me. I don't like that. And we can be frustrated. I don't care what industry you're in, or what you do for a living. There's going to be challenges and there's going to be frustrations and there's going to be things that you do that you wish were different or could change. But there's a way to affect change and go about things than outwardly voicing that frustration in a negative manner that becomes banter after a while. And it's continuous noise all around you. And that's kind of where we're at now, I feel like. I had a friend recently send me some information, a text or a post, something on a forum somewhere, saying something to the effect of something similar to what you had said. I wouldn't get my child into this business. Here, let me read a part of it. It says here, we often talk, I've often talked to my daughter about becoming an appraiser, but I would never send her into the perverted den of vipers. That's just that. This is the industry that I work and live in, and has treated me so well and has provided me so many things in my daily life and my work life balance that I would never get from a normal 9 to 5 brick and mortar type job where I have to go in, report somewhere, open a door, unlock a door, and I work from these hours to those hours. That's not a job that I have, and that's not a job that this industry and this appraisal license has provided me. So when someone talks about they would never get their child into this business and throw them into this perverted den of vipers, it just really rubs me the wrong way because I got my son into this business a few years ago, and to to read that information, to see that other people have these experiences and actually think that way, and in order to resolve the problem, they just throw venom at it, just spew ugliness at it with no resolution to it, and I don't understand that. So I have a really good friend of mine. Here, let's do this. Hal Humphreys, good friend of mine, good friend of yours. We both know him very well.
I've met Hal.
You've met Hal. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and he's been an appraiser for over 30 something years. Well, 40 years ago, his father growing up was an appraiser and is an appraiser. And his father told him 40 years ago, son, don't get into this job, but there's not going to be a need for appraisers in a minute. You're going down a bad path, son. Don't do it. Even though his father was doing it. That was 40 years ago. My son just came to me here a while back and asked if, this would be something that, that I thought that would be something fruitful for him to follow through and proceed and look into and maybe, delve into and get involved with. And to see these comments like, I don't get into this profession, son, 40 years ago. And then some of these current forums I see and hear and read right now, I would never get into this business. I would never do this. I just don't understand why. Because I just on face value here, what this license has provided me is more than one job. My job is just not a boots on the ground appraiser, like we've talked about in the introduction. This appraisal license has allowed me a platform to start, develop, and create new things, employ people, help other people put food on their tables. I had the opportunity to serve on the appraisal commission, learn, see, educate, study, all the things. Being boots on the ground appraiser is just one avenue and one facet of having this license. Being able to sit and be a chief appraiser and see the big operation from a 30,000 foot view and be responsible for all that, that's a whole nother job. That's something this appraisal license in this appraisal industry has afforded me the availability to do. Would I throw my son in this den of vipers? Absolutely, I would.
Well, that's what I was about to ask you, Jason. I had it written down. I wrote this down. I said, would you tell your kids not to even consider becoming an appraiser? And so you kind of stole my thunder. Not only would you tell them not become an appraiser, you kind of encourage them to become. And we've got another guest. Surprise. Here he is. Hey, Eli.
I'm in the den of vipers, boys.
Eli, welcome to the program, my friend. Tell everybody who you are and what it is you do.
I'm Eli McCorkle. As Jason pointed out, he threw me into the so-called den of vipers about 4 years ago. I was a sports marketing major from Chattanooga during COVID. What were my options after college? Zero. I had zero options. My family has been doing appraisals for as long as I can remember. So I asked them, is this a good road for me? Should I take this road? I want to do this, but this seems comfortable, and you guys have always lived comfortably and provided. And they were like, yeah, we'll start you off. And, I was fortunate enough to be in a situation where finding a supervisor was not hard for me. I think that's one of the most challenging things is finding a supervisor.
It definitely is challenging for folks out there that don't have a father that they can rely on, or a grandfather or somebody like that. I didn't have that.
Right.
I kind of got lucky. And the profession's been trying to solve that problem, to give alternative ways of getting in and trying to find that. Don't go anywhere, either one of you. I have tons of questions for you, especially Eli, but don't go away. I got some business to do right quick. I'd like to thank LI Administrators and Insurance Services for their continued support of the Appraisal Update Podcast. It's been since 1978 that they've been offering E&O insurance evaluation professionals. They apply superior customer service, exceptional liability education, unparalleled claim defense to serve well over 10,000 real estate professionals all across our lands. LIA also offers commercial bonds, general liability, cyber liability, and so much, much more. Visit liability.com to learn more about how LIA can help protect you as well as your business. All right, back to my father and son team, Jason and Eli. Now, you guys don't actually work together in the same office anymore, right? Eli, you're on your own. Jason, you're on your own. Is that right? Okay.
That's correct.
But walk me through this, Eli. Initially, you did work with Jason. Talk about how that was and what you enjoyed about, training to become an appraiser, and frankly, what you didn't like about it. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, Jason, he was my father growing up, but he's more like a best friend to me. So working with your best buddy, that's as easy as it gets. We didn't argue, we didn't fight. And if we did argue, it was about sports or something unrelated to the appraising world. So working with him was easy. I was actually out of college. First daughter was getting on her way. And so Jason put me into this appraising path and kind of showed me, there's money to be made here. He showed me this isn't a typical 9 to 5. And you can be, a two-headed monster. You can be a guy who works 9 to 12, be a father 12 to bedtime, and then put the appraiser cap back on and be an appraiser. If people are fortunate enough to find a supervisor and, are willing to work and work hard, there's enough work out there. All you got to do is get in your car, go drive to a house, go look at the house, measure the house, come back to the office and write it up in your pajamas if you want to. Tell me something that's better than that.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that.
Well said. Well said. Well, let's talk about it a little bit. I can tell, I can hear a little fire, a little passion in your voice, like Jason has. I want you to tell my audience, what is your favorite part about being an appraiser? And then, all fairness, everything can't be roses every day, all day. I want you to candidly talk about your least favorite thing about the appraisal profession.
Okay. Picking favorites is very easy, but my favorite thing about my job is being home, being able to make my own schedule and be home with my kids. That's number one for me. Because, I see so many people, and it's just so common for the husband to leave at 7, get home at 5, wife's upset, kids have been bad all day, she hadn't had a break. I don't have that. She gets upset, but it's not because I'm not here, right? I'm here. Day to day, I'll tell you my favorite thing is getting to see new places, getting to try new foods. There's stuff outside this job that has its perks. You don't have many phone calls. You don't have, at least I don't have many headaches. Your opinion is your opinion, and that's it. Like you said, getting paid to tell somebody your opinion, best thing ever. Headaches, the phone calls. If they think your opinion is absolutely wrong, they're not going to back off that unless you tell them, hey, I'm 100% certain on this. Here's the data to support it. It's all right there in front of you. That's what it is.
There's going to be some people that complain no matter what, right? You've met the people out there that they just like to complain. They're not happy unless they're complaining. And so, we're all going to run across that in every profession. Where do you think we're going, Eli? And then I'll ask you the same, Jason. It's been a rough road for a lot of the residential appraisers out there, and commercial as well, over the last, I'm going to say 4 years. When COVID first hit, I thought, man, we're going to be dead, and we were still relatively busy there at first. And then I think with the rates, when the rates started climbing up, right, and then they doubled. Where do you think we're going now? Because there is a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of frustration, and I think some of that's, rightful. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be a little nervous and scared. But where do you think we're going? Should the appraiser start looking for a part-time job or alternative work, or what do you think, Eli?
I think we're here to stay. Me personally, I'm in a better position than I think most appraisers are in. I have other family members that do this who are negative and complain and frankly don't get as much work as I do. I'm blessed to be with Velux Valuations, an appraisal firm. The day in and day out stuff I talk to other appraiser buddies about, managing finances, collecting this, collecting that. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I've seen slowdowns some months. It's always slow at the beginning, a little slow at the end, but there's still food on the table. Bills are being paid. I've been busy. Month in, month out, I've been busy.
So with that, what you just said, it's slowed down a little bit. You said you've been busy in the same token. Do you ever have times at which you regret the decision to become an appraiser?
Never.
Okay.
And I'll tell you this. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I love that mindset and that quote you started off with of people not wanting to get their kids into this. I'm not a greedy person, but if there's a lack of appraisers here in 5-10 years and I'm still here, by all means, I take all those orders all day.
Yeah, very true, very true. Well, it's easy to be negative. Being positive is sometimes a challenge, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But Jason, what about you? I do know some appraisers that have got out of the business. I had a gentleman that worked for me that things slowed way down, and he's doing something different. But I just brought on another trainee a week ago, and looking to maybe add some more. But what does Jason Covington think on this topic?
I have a myriad of opinions on this. From a couple of different perspectives, I don't know if this disdain for this appraisal profession these people are in, that they've grown to dislike so much, is a combination of a number of things. And I can only speak from my own perspective and my own performance. And I know when I performed really well, and I'm picking up my phone every time it rings, and I'm answering my text immediately, and I'm responding to automated or non-automated updates from appraisal management companies or appraisal clients, whatever it is. When I'm on my game, man, I'm killing it. And you know what? The clients love me. And you know what? I continue to get orders and more orders and more orders. But there's a human factor in that too. I can't always, or I have not always performed at 100 or 110% capacity. So there have been times in my cyclical attitude or my cyclical behavior as a human being where I might not perform as I just explained, and I might perform 90% or 80% of that. And when I'm not responding to texts and I'm not picking up phones and I'm not making updates on these to my clients in a timely manner, guess what? I'm not getting as many orders. Things are slowing down. I'm hanging on to orders and not getting them out as fast. Things are slowing down. So one perspective is just that, how much of you and your energy and your efforts are you actually devoting to your appraisal practice? And if you can say 100 to 110% and you're still failing, then you might want to reconsider. But I have yet to put in 100 or 110% and fail. So I don't know what that looks like. So Also, the other thought, appraisal waivers, hybrids, desktops, they're taking my work away. There's no more appraisals to be done. I don't believe that either. If you want to make that argument, I say go do your research. Go actually know what you're talking about before you start putting negative information out on these forums and blogs. Why don't you go listen to some podcasts or listen to some people that know what they're talking about, or read some articles, i.e., I just watched a podcast with Hal and Keenan Chin. He is the EVP, Executive Vice President for Clear Capital. Smart guy. Like him a lot. Met him at one of the ACTS conferences or summit, whatever it is. Another reason I would encourage your audience to take the time and energy to go to these conferences. The people you meet and the things you learn and the network you grow, it's amazing. I cannot tell you how my business has grown up and to the right in the last 5 years since I've just kind of put myself out there and started attending those things. And that's 110% effort. Again, here I am doing that. I'm getting the results and I'm reaping the rewards from all that. But if you go back to listen to that podcast I just listened to with Hal and Keenan, Keenan breaks down for you the percentage of difference between these hybrids and waived appraisals and all of this stuff. And you know what? The percentage is so low. If 100% of the waivers were accepted, I think the percentage would change from 12 to 14. Now, come on. That's 2,000 orders and the millions that are going out, or whatever it is, hundreds of thousands that are going out. So my point to that is anybody can spew negativity. Anybody can be ugly and mean. Before you do that, take the time to educate yourself and make sure what you're spewing is accurate, first of all. And second of all, is it going to be helpful to somebody or not? I think these negative comments don't help anybody. There's no information behind it to perpetuate anything positive or promote a change. So I don't like it. I don't think it's productive.
I'm going to read something real quick. I got something in the mail, and it was just I thought it was a Christmas card or something, but you can see it's not a Christmas card.
Thank you.
So let me just read a piece of this. Bryan, I really enjoyed your podcast with Jamie Owen.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
I love the positive attitude you both have. I think my future as a real estate appraiser is quite bright. And I think I'll just leave it there. He said some other very nice things. Love hearing other thoughtful voices in our space. He did say that. And the rest, thank you, Rob. So thank you, Rob, for sending that. That was very nice of you, very kind. And I appreciate that more than you know.
Thanking y'all for being upbeat.
Here's the thing. Jason, you have a lot of positivity, excitement. Eli, you sound very similar to Dad.
Yep.
How do you maintain that? I mean, it's easy to get up and moan and complain. My foot hurts. My back hurts. It's raining, for crying out loud.
It's
right?
17 degrees.
I was smoking meat at 28 degrees on Thanksgiving Day, right? So how do you do that? I want to go to Eli first. How do you stay positive when we've got so many negative forces surrounding us on a regular basis?
Just drive by new construction. There's guys out there working 10 hours in this stuff, and I got to go in and take pictures and get out. That's how I stay positive. I could be out there swinging a hammer too, but I'm not.
Perspective, my friend. Perspective.
Yeah. All of it is.
Jason, I don't know if you ever have a bad day. You always seem pretty upbeat and positive. What's your secret?
It's the same thing, man. We all have bad days, man. It happens to me too. But listen, I try to find myself when I'm in those negative mind spaces. I'm getting better at recognizing it, first of all, and when I do recognize it, I'm getting much better at twisting that thought around and putting some perspective on it. That's why I said to Eli's comment, perspective. Because when he drives by and it's 17 degrees outside and you got 40 guys outside slinging hammers and packing lumber, well, perspective is, thank God I ain't doing that. I mean, at least I'm getting to do what I'm doing. And that's just the thing. I don't care what it is or what path you're traveling. If you can wake your thought process up and come to the realization of this really ain't as bad as I'm making it out to be. I could be fill in the blank. And I'm not. Listen, this industry has provided me a great living. I get to work when I want to work, as hard as I want to work. And like I said a minute ago, that's the other thing. I get to choose. Am I going to be an 80%er today or a 110%er? The more days I choose 100 and 110, the more days I'm going to win. And I've proven that to myself over and over and over. And if I can change my perspective when I'm in those bad days or bad moods, or that lender has kicked me back with the 6th revision on something, and I'm just calm down, slow down, and think about perspective. Jason, what if I was in that brick and mortar from 9 to 5? I'm not. I'm in my beautiful home, office, whatever it is. I can get up, take a break, go in, go out. I can walk down the street and go eat lunch anytime, whatever I want to do.
You don't have to. I'm going to tell on you. All he has to do is go out on his front porch and hit some golf ball. He's got a putting green right outside the door, a few feet from where he's sitting. Oh my gosh, Eli! I don't need to see your tax returns or anything, but. Are you making any money? I mean, is this, it's great to be home. It's great to be home with the children. I've always said you could be ethical and be broke. You could also be home with the kids and doing what you love doing. But, are you making any money?
Yes. I'm not. One thing appraising has taught me is, we work in real estate all day. I bought a condo in Bellevue, sort of right out of college, getting into this, seeing the prices go up, seeing them, how crazy they went here in Nashville in this little bubble we're in. So that helped me make the most money I've ever made, is buying that low, recognizing, okay, I've been an appraiser, I see where this is, I see where the prices are going, then being able to get out at the right time, being able to move somewhere else. So yeah, I think in that aspect, it's helped me make a lot of money. And then day in, day out, paycheck to paycheck, can't complain.
Very good.
Never
very good. So not only are you getting a paycheck to paycheck and you're satisfied with that amount, you've been able to use your knowledge and your skill set that you've learned to capitalize as an investor, quite frankly, and buying real 100%. Estate and using that to your advantage. That's great. Hey, guys, I know I've kept you on here for quite a while. Just a couple last minute thoughts. If somebody's watching right now, they've thought about being an appraiser, but they've seen tons of negativity out there, and they're like, whoa, I don't think I'm going to go down this path after all. If someone is on the fence and they're thinking about doing it, what would you, I'm going to zoom in on both of you. Eli, you look right in the camera. What would you say to that person that's just not sure, but they're thinking about following your footsteps, what you've done?
Do it. Long road, but do it. You will not find a better job than this job we have right here. We're all blessed. It's the best job. And
Jason, I don't think you could say it any better than him. I think that was pretty good.
Well, here, I'll do this for you. If you're the opposite and you're thinking, I do hear all this negative stuff, and, I like what you had to say, Jason, but, I'm still on the fence and I'm not sure. I think I don't know if I want to get into this or not. Well, here's my phone number. My phone number is 615-642-7658. Call me. We can talk.
Thank you guys so much, Jason, Eli. You've been a lot of fun. What are you doing? What are you doing for the holiday? I mean, Christmas is right here. What are you guys doing for the holidays?
Family and friends. There's been 1 million packages on my front door, so I know we've bought some good kids' toys.
There you go.
I'm excited to see them. I can't wait to see what I bought.
Jason, you're making a road trip, right? You're going to take them.
Yeah, I'll go to Dallas and Austin. I'll go to Texas and see my family, make a quick trip down there and back, and enjoy the holidays like that. And it'll be here before we know it, man. And it'll be gone before we know it. So enjoy it all. Y'all be safe. Safe travels.
And then we're knocking on the door of 2025. No question
Let's go
about
2025.
it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having me, Bryan. Have a great day, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening or watching the Appraisal Update Podcast, brought to you as always by the great folks over at Appraiser eLearning. I hope that you're safe. I hope that you're happy. I hope you're positive or get that way. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Until next time, I'm your host, Bryan Reynolds, for Jason and Eli. Happy appraising.
The Appraisal Update Podcast is brought to you by Appraiser eLearning.